Hello students, teachers, parents, history nerds. Hello everybody and welcome to Nutshelled History, where we lay out the facts, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We continue with our Early America series by building our understanding of the Constitution. Check the description down below for a fill-in-the-blanks worksheet that goes along with this video. I just ask that you like and subscribe. Okay, let's go. The preamble, or opening statement, of the Constitution outlines the goals of the document. 7 sections, called the Articles, make up the main body of the Constitution. The first 3 articles describe the branches of government: legislative, executive, and judicial. Article 4 requires states to honor one another's laws and sets up a system for admitting new states. Article 5 provides a process for amending the Constitution. Article 6 declares the Constitution the supreme law of the land. Article 7 sets up the procedure for the states to ratify the Constitution. In more than 200 years, only 27 changes have been made to the Constitution. The Constitution rests on 7 basic principles. Popular sovereignty asserts that the people are the main source of the government's authority. Limited government means the government only has powers given to it by the Constitution. Separation of powers divides the federal government into 3 branches. Each branch has its own duties. Checks and balances is a system by which each branch of government has the power to limit the actions of the other 2. Like the separation of powers, this is designed to prevent the abuse of power. Federalism is the division of power between the federal government and the states. Republicanism provides for a government in which people elect representatives to carry out their will. The principle of individual rights means the Constitution protects rights such as freedom of speech and the right to trial by jury. The federal government consists of 3 branches, each of which has its own unique powers and responsibilities. Article 1 of the Constitution sets up the Congress to make the nation's laws. Congress consists of 2 bodies, the House of Representatives and the Senate. The Senate is based on equal representation and includes 2 senators from each state. Senators serve 6-year terms. The Vice President serves as the President of the Senate. The House of Representatives is the larger of the 2 bodies. Representation in the House is based on a state's population. People elect their representatives for 2-year terms. The leader of the House, called the Speaker, regulates debates and agendas in the House. The most important power Congress has is the power to make the nation's laws. A law starts as a bill or proposal, which can be introduced in either the House or the Senate. Congress can also collect taxes, coin money, establish post offices, fix standard weights and measures, and declare war. Article 2 of the Constitution sets up the executive branch to carry out laws and to run the affairs of the national government. The President is the head of the executive branch, which also includes the Vice President and the Cabinet. The people in the many departments and agencies are also part of the executive branch. The President can veto bills, propose laws, grant pardons, appoint high officials, negotiate treaties, and serve as Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. The President serves a 4-year term and cannot serve more than 2 terms. The President is elected through a system called the Electoral College. Americans do not directly elect the President. Rather, they vote for a group of electors. The number of electors depends on each state's number of senators and representatives. The candidate who receives the more than half of the electoral votes becomes president. If no candidate gets to that number, the House of Representatives elects our president, and the Senate elects our vice president. Article 3 of the Constitution established a Supreme Court and authorizes Congress to establish other courts that are needed. The system of federal courts was set up under the Judiciary Act of 1789. Most federal cases begin in district courts, where evidence is presented and a judge or a jury decides the facts of a case. If a party disagrees with the decision of the judge or jury, it may appeal. An appeal asks that a higher court review the decision. The Supreme Court is at the top of the judicial branch, and it consists of a Chief Justice and 8 Associate Justices. The President nominates the judges, and Congress must approve the appointments. The Supreme Court is the final court of appeals. Decisions rest on a majority of at least 5 of the 9 justices. The most important power of the Supreme Court is the power of judicial review. The court can declare whether acts of the president or laws passed by Congress are unconstitutional or not allowed by the Constitution. The framers believed the separation of powers and checks and balances would prevent the rise of a single powerful leader or branch of government. For example, the president has the ability to veto or reject bills passed by Congress. Similarly, Congress could override or overrule the veto. In the case of presidential wrongdoing, Congress has the power to impeach the president. The House brings charges against the president, who is then tried by the Senate. If convicted, the president will be removed from office. I almost removed recap time, but I didn't, so it's recap time. The United States Constitution is made up of 3 parts. First, there is the preamble, which is more than an introduction. It states the purpose of our government and that the government gets its power from the people. The main part are the 7 articles. The first 3 set up our 3 branches of government and outlines each of their separate powers. The last part is the list of the 27 amendments that have been made to the Constitution. The Constitution rests on the principles of popular sovereignty, limited government, and separation of powers, among other things. Regarding separation of powers, Article 1 gives the legislative branch the power to make laws. Article 2 gives our executive branch, including the President, the power to execute and enforce laws. Finally, Article 3 establishes a Supreme Court. While the power of judicial review is not a stated power of SCOTUS, it is a very important part of checks and balances. There you have it, folks. That is understanding the Constitution nutshelled. Thanks for stopping by Nutshelled History. Remember to go nuts on those like and subscribe buttons for me. I'll see you next time.